Johnny Cage. Kano. Scorpion.
Come here! Get over here!
Raiden.
I don't think
Welcome to the Hormonal Werewolves, YouTube's most ignored show. We're here to talk about another video game movie. Before we agreed to do these two, Resident Evil and Mortal Kombat, I didn't even realize that it was the same director.
I don't think I realized that either.
It's serendipitous, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's Mr. Paul.
I did know that. Yes, because we had a large
W.S. Anderson.
W.S. Anderson. Yes, I did remember that.
Paul, what script? Anderson.
What script Anderson?
Script Anderson.
This was the movie that got him recognized.
Mortal Kombat. Before we get into the movie, did you guys put a bazillion quarters into an arcade machine like I did, only to have my ass handed to me? Yeah. By someone that knew all the secret moves.
I'm a spaz. I think I've discussed this with you before. Between this game and Street Fighter, I would just hit all the buttons as spastic as I could. And I would do some wild shit, but I would have no idea how to recreate it unless I spazzed. So I wasn't what I would call good.
In Street Fighter, you could get away with that. In Mortal Kombat, if you played someone that even knew halfway what they were doing, you got annihilated. Yeah. Ryan, do you have a similar?
I actually didn't play the arcade game very much.
Okay.
We didn't have arcades in where I lived.
Fair enough.
So
back in the woods of Canada.
Yeah.
You're still kicking the bucket. Let's go kick the can.
That means something else.
Keep the can.
When he pulls out the spine, that was my favorite part probably in the entire game.
You can't say it enough that we had never seen anything like that in video games before. I was still trying to master Dragon's Quest or whatever the fuck it was. The guy that
is that Dirk
trying to walk over the bridge, and no matter what you did, he fell to his death.
I love that fucking game.
And then suddenly there's this game where dudes are getting their spines ripped out and hearts ripped out of their chest and engulfed in flames and I can't express enough how big of a deal it was and what an impression it left on me. That really was sort of the last legs of the golden age of the arcade, when that was kind of
yeah, see, I didn't do the home gaming as much after Atari and Sega as we've discussed in the past. Arcade games, however, I fucking loved.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were definitely the heydays of the arcade. It was when they peaked, because after that it just started to become
shooter games, or
Rampage, which was fun.
Rampage. Okay, when I was a kid, probably 8 or 9, we used to sneak out and walk to 7-Eleven, which was on kind of a major road, and we'd go through the cornfield and we'd go over there, and we would get our Slurpees, and they had 2 arcade games in the store, and one of them was Rampage.
From North Korea.
Through the cornfields, but then you have to pick all the ticks off when you got on the other side. But anyway, they had Rampage, and they had, what was the one with the 4 characters, one with Battle Axe or something?
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. That was the other one in there. It was the greatest time of my life. The 2 greatest arcade games ever.
Golden Axe was the closest thing they ever came to making a decent Dungeons and Dragons game, right? The whole premise of the game and the films are very cinematic in origin. You can basically, Mortal Kombat, to me anyway, it's two movies. It's Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. With you know the secret tournament in Shaolin Monk and you know all that stuff. And it's also maybe even and let's just what's his name? Liu Kang is basically Bruce Lee. That's
100%.
Who's supposed to be. But maybe even more than Enter the Dragon, this movie is Big Trouble in Little China, like all the way. Like Raiden, like you have the three.
Oh yeah,
storms.
he literally is.
Yeah, and like is Shao Kahn, not Shao Kahn. What's his name? Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
Is he's the bad guy from Big Trouble
Who
in
has
Little
the
China.
best eyebrows I've ever seen. I love that man's face. I just want to put that out there. His eyebrows are fantastic.
But it's also like the monsters, the sorcery, like Big Trouble in Little China was monsters, martial arts, sorcery, and that is 90% of what Mortal Kombat is.
Mm-hmm. With a little bit of D&D in there too, because they had the Beholder that comes out.
Sure.
The guy with all the eyeballs.
God, no, please, what is that? Don't tell me.
Oh yeah.
In Big Trouble in Little China, that's directly out of the Gary Gygax's D&D book.
It has that vibe. Like, it's not just a martial arts game. There's all this other shit going on.
Well, there's some supernatural or gods or, you know.
Multiple dimensions and sorcery and gods and...
I mean, actually, Shang Tsung is a great character because every battle, even if he's not in the battle, whoever loses, he sucks up their soul.
Fatality.
And I mentioned Bloodsport. Johnny Cage is clearly Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
Hate him.
But we've all, and as you mentioned, Raiden is a perfect example of Big Trouble in Little China. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, your classic colored ninjas. I was trying to figure out who it was that Sonya Blade is a reference.
Oh.
And it's Cynthia Rothrock. That's who I was trying to remember.
That makes sense. Cynthia Rothrock.
Sonya was the love letter to Cynthia Rothrock.
Although I gotta say, I kind of wanted to slap her for most of this movie, and I think it's just her face.
It's Bridget. What's her name? Bridget Wilson.
Bridget Wilson. I like Bridget Wilson.
Who's just famously known as,
resting bitch face, or I smelled something shitty.
Vanessa Vaughn. So hot.
Today, Junior?
Oh, Miranda, come on. So hot. Want to touch the hiney?
Billy Madison is a fucking...
That's a funny movie.
Classic. I love it.
Did you guys know that Bridget Wilson was not the originally cast in the movie?
It was Jodie Foster?
It was Cameron Diaz.
Oh.
What?
That actually would have worked.
I think it was her wrist. She broke her wrist. And they had to recast, and it was Bridget Wilson.
Yeah, it's just her face. There's something about her face.
I'm sure Cameron Diaz is like, I wish I could have swapped careers with Bridget Wilson. Jean-Claude Van Damme, say what you will about that dude, but he has a presence to him. He's an imposing guy.
Yeah, and he's only like 5'4". I'm not kidding. I'm 100%.
He's taller than that.
Looking it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
No, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Continue, Adam.
This is like the Tom Cruise thing where like he just gets smaller and smaller.
He's 5'10". He's 5'10".
Yeah, he's 5'10".
I don't believe that for a second.
Well, the guy that plays him in this, like, he should not have got the part.
Oh, Lyndon Ashby.
Yeah, like he is so generic looking. He's so generic. It looks like his face was created by AI. There's just no presence about him.
Awful.
I was actually I was really happy with how this movie was casted.
I will preface by saying, because I know I'm not giving that impression, I loved this movie. It is a lot of fun, but whoever cast this fucking movie was so way off the I love Christopher Lambert. I do.
Yeah. What the fuck is he doing
as Raiden?
So
miscast in this movie.
What the fuck is he doing as Raiden?
Sorry.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Nobody's good in this.
It's not quite blackface, but he's sitting there wearing the farmer rice hat.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you were not in Vietnam.
No.
Farming for rice. What are you doing wearing that thing?
And
Okay.
Lady Katana, not for nothing. And again, I have no problem with this, but I think the woman is either Puerto Rican or it's just. I thought she
didn't
was
have a
beautiful.
problem
I thought
with
she was
her
really good. I don't have a problem with her. I like her, but I realized this movie was a huge part of this movie was my sexuality in 1990s. Or what year did this come out?
Lord.
90,
Oh, this
95.
photo?
I'm gonna put that on the thumbnail for the episode.
Well, I just mean
This is
so I
my
realized there's something about I had an Asian phase. Really,
persuasion.
I really enjoyed the whole what's his face.
You enjoyed Pan-Asian cuisine?
The only two Asian people in the movie are Robin Shu and
Yeah,
Gary-
that's
and
part
Gary
of the problem.
Tagawa.
Yeah, there just aren't enough Asian people in this movie.
In the movie that should be well, that's a
It just
whole
isn't.
other.
Liu Kang is the best representation of the character from the game.
I liked him, and I
Robin
liked
Shu,
Lady
yeah.
Katana.
Yeah, he's really good. Although the actor who portrays, I have it written down somewhere, Cary Tagawa.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get better casting for Shang Tsung than that guy.
He's perfect. He's
he
absolutely perfect.
He has one of the most evil faces I've ever seen.
So yeah, no, Gary Tagawa as Shang Tsung is a fucking presence in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the best part of this
Yeah,
movie.
He's
I
the
think.
Palpatine, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Like the way he chooses the scenery and just looks so menacing.
And he never came back for a sequel either, did he?
Well, no, Shang Tsung's spoiler alert. Shang Tsung.
Well, yeah, but Shang Tsung always dies and then he comes back. He's like Jason.
It's what he does.
Since we're talking about the actors really quick, I do want to shine a light on Trevor Goddard as Kano.
Kano.
He was good.
The
Didn't he
man,
die?
he did, unfortunately. The man was so good.
He has
As
neck broken
Kano.
by Sonya Blade, didn't you? In the movie?
He did, yeah. In real life, it was cocaine.
Same thing.
But he was so good as Kano. They actually, in future games, they changed
They
Kano's
changed what he
lineage.
looked like.
And they
Australian.
turned him into an Australian because of Trevor Goddard in this movie.
Yes, he was so good.
Hello, baby. Did you miss me?
He's not on my shit
I still
list.
like Christopher Lambert's Raiden. I'm gonna put it out there.
Really?
Not
So
the god of thunder in this. He's the god of exposition.
Shang Tsung's power can be destroyed by mortal men and women. You have embarked on a sacred mission in a tournament called Mortal Kombat.
he's the god of exposition. I like, what was it, Goro? Is that the guy?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Goro. There are parts where I'm like, these effects are pretty solid.
Oh, they do. They sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
But I liked him.
I believe it was Stan Winston Studios that did Goro. Tom Woodruff Jr. is a special effects artist, but he also does suit work. He wears the suit. I had mentioned in the Pumpkinhead episode he played Pumpkinhead.
Okay.
But yeah, you see them a lot in the making of this movie. So
When I was watching this, it's been a
Why
long
do you have
time since
balloons?
Why do you have balloons?
Why did you just have balloons
What?
fly up?
Do you have an
I
iPhone?
saw that, but I do have an iPhone. Did something happen?
Yeah, it's something to do with your hands. I think if you wave your hands or something.
Do it again.
Friendship.
So, speaking of the CGI, the CGI for a reptile doesn't necessarily hold up, but when he goes sort of invisible, is he supposed to be the same guy from Monsters Inc.?
What's this? Wazowski!
Or Predator. I think that's.
But Monsters
where he
Inc.
was
looks
originally.
exactly the same. That kind of
Oh, I
lizard
see
guy
what
that
you're
goes.
saying. Yeah, no. Now I know what you mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
kinda.
feel like he's the same guy somehow.
They did my boy Reptile a little
Wrong.
dirty.
Yeah.
Some of the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Turns into human
Could've been
reptile
annoying.
towards the end,
Yeah,
and that was
Which-
kind of cool. But
which was not supposed to happen.
I'm glad that they did.
Yeah.
Because that character he was my favorite Mortal Kombat character for
Mhm.
a really long time. I loved it because he was the secret character, this, that, and the other thing.
And he's a reptile.
And I thought that that's all they were going to give him. And he was hard as hell to beat in the game.
Oh yeah,
So
Impossible.
I'm glad they gave him his like kind of like
His
moment in the spotlights.
Well,
So-
originally when the movie originally was doing test screenings, people said there wasn't enough fights, so they added the whole reptile fight, like where reptile becomes human and fights.
And fights.
That was added because of test screening reaction.
I appreciated that.
The second half of the scorpion fight was also added.
Here's a negative I'm going to say about this movie. Seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero walk out together. As this tandem. Like, if you're a fan of the games, if you're a fan of the lore, if you're a fan of the mythology, like, the heart of the series, I'm going to go out on a limb. The heart of the series is the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It's the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow of the franchise. And the whole, you know, their struggle, their inner rivalry. Sub-Zero murdered Scorpion's family, and he comes, you know, all this stuff. To see them side by side, like fighting together, it's just such a ripoff, you know. And I kept being reminded, like, this whole movie, like, they're just being like, both of them aren't actually themselves. They're being mind controlled. Like, they're basically Ghidorah and Gigan from Godzilla vs. Gigan, where they're just being mind controlled by aliens. It's not them. It's just the shells of themselves being controlled by other people.
Going through the motions that they have to go through.
Yeah, and it's just such we're just being gypped out of a really good story there, just because they didn't want to make the story too big. You know,
that might have been the right choice. Have you seen the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it.
But it feels pretty full, is what I'm saying. And
yeah,
we don't even get a tournament.
There's another story to be told.
Yeah.
You know, and it's never told in these films.
Get on that, Adam.
No, I'll do what I can.
Do what I can.
Scorpion at least looks kind of cool. He's very video game accurate for the time, and he at least looks cool because he's got the like the white eyes, like the white dead eyes. Sub-Zero, though, like, they don't do him any favors. Anytime they show a close-up of him, he just looks like Mr. Bean in like, a face mask.
One thing in the video game to freeze a person and then uppercut him.
Right.
But in the movie, like, how are you coming back from being frozen into an icicle?
In this movie, you cannot.
Exactly.
What did you think about Scorpion's like hook being sentient and having a face
Out of the...
and shit?
I thought that was fun. I liked it.
I do like the scene with all the trees. Like, it's so right out of the video game that I really dug that.
It doesn't hurt the character, I'll say.
No, it doesn't hurt the character. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like Peter Parker having organic webbing and whichever
versus
one that was.
web shooters, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my web fluid. It's for my web shooters. Whoa! You can't do that, huh? No.
How on earth does that even?
Out of your butt? Sorry.
All of the problems that I have in this movie, there are some gorgeous set pieces that make me fall, that have the Mortal
nostalgic
Kombat
pull
vibe.
Yeah.
Like pretty much like anything in the Shaolin Temple looks amazing. With just like these, I don't know what you call them, not monuments, but these ancient structures behind them.
Pillars, yeah.
Yeah, like the pillars. The ghost ship that comes to pick them up. Mm-hmm. It's just that's so Mortal Kombat. I mean, it looks amazing, and even a lot of the stuff on the beach, and you have like castles on the side of cliffs and things like that, and mountain ranges and stuff. Like they got the memo of what a Mortal Kombat universe is supposed to look like, and I thought they succeeded for the most part.
Can I bring up the music? Because to me, the music in this movie is fucking fantastic. You don't like the music?
No, I mean at the time I did, like the Mortal Kombat.
Very techno. It
I
got
think
me.
they-
I mean, even now, I was as I was watching, and
as I was singing it.
It is impossible to not associate Techno Syndrome with Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah. We all went to the arcade and put our quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter to see the spine get ripped off, to see the arms get pulled off, to see the heart get ripped out of someone's chest. And they're just like, yeah, we'll just give them a little tomahawk chop to the.
But see, this was 1990. This was 1995. Like the average, like I was 12 and I was like the peak target audience for Mortal Kombat. I was not getting into it.
I was 22 and I saw it in the theaters and then had the best time in the parking lot kicking my friend's butt because I felt very tough.
Oh, okay.
There's some magic in the scene because it's really the only proper fatality that we get in the whole movie. But like when the Scorpion is fighting Johnny Cage in the underworld, and he rips his, just like in the game, he takes his hood off
but he rips his
fire. Yeah, and then afterwards,
really
like Johnny Cage has the poster with
fan.
the audio. Yeah, I mean that is ripped straight out of the game, and it's like if you were not a fan of the game, like you would just look at it and be like, "What the fuck?" That is I was happy to see that. Like an actual fatality. It didn't succeed, but at least he tried.
No, and it was pretty, like you said, it was pretty much the only Scorpion breathing the fire and Johnny Cage whipping out the autograph. Those are pretty much the only
whipping out the what?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Autograph.
Autograph.
Only actual fatalities / friendships we
Right.
got because none of the other ones could be done. Like you had Kano with his heart rip, or Sub-Zero with his spine
The
rip.
spine
That
coming
loved
out.
So much.
Right.
How did
Yeah,
Sub-Zero die in this? Why am I forgetting? I wrote down his death was awesome, but for some reason,
Liu
can't
Kang
remember.
whips around a bucket of water and
He
it
froze.
flies.
He froze himself.
Oh, that's right.
They killed Goro pretty easily.
Yeah, like Johnny gave him a crotch shot, and then
A signature.
I did mark out when he does the Jean-Claude Van Damme leg split
leg split.
Yeah.
right into the dick punch.
That was pretty cool.
That's
let's
fun.
be honest.
Yeah, that is fun.
That's
and
fun.
It is.
I did
one
like
of
that.
the
This is
things
where
we
you
get.
fall down.
Yeah.
This is where you fall down.
Yeah. There should have been more things from the game as far as the set pieces in the game, like the bridge or whatever. When you or the pit.
Mhm.
When you knock people down and they just
Well,
fall,
we
fall,
did.
fall, and
We,
like-
we did get that in the finale with Liu Kang and Shang Tsung fighting at the top of the stairs, and the floor got filled with spikes. I mean, that's clearly a reference to the pit.
I do want to bring up, like, what was Sonya being all tied up with her hair all big, like some 80s fantasy?
Yeah, I'll say this. Yeah, she went from being like in the beginning, they're on the boat, and Raiden's
pulled
like,
back.
I've looked into all the hearts of all the fighters, and it's all going to come down to you three. Meaning they were all kind of like equals, and so, Johnny Cage had his moment defeating Goro, and Liu Kang had his moment defeating Shang Tsung. I guess her moment was defeating Kano.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But
she did break his.
Other than doing that, she became useless. Just
just
damsel in distress.
give her some big hair and tie her up.
Help me.
I kind of went in expecting not to like it because everybody's a little cheeseball, and again, I brought this up before. The casting to me is a little off. I don't know how they came up with the people that they came up with to put in these roles. It weirdly works in its own world, but
I agree with you.
So I am going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 ways that I now understand my sexuality a lot more than I did in 1995. Because this movie was very eye-opening for me.
I can't believe Abby gave it a 4.5. I thought for a second, I had forgotten our rating system.
That is high.
And I was like, she must be in a 4.5
That is very
out of
high.
10.
But I mentioned I was really in a very good place when I watched this. Like,
yeah, she was feeling good.
Practically tripping.
Like I said, I was 12 years old when I saw this. This movie was my personality for a while. I owned Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. I played it all the time. I fucking love Mortal Kombat. I love Paul W.S. Anderson. I love the fight scenes. That friggin' Liu Kang versus Reptile one, I will play on repeat sometimes, especially with the music in there too. And again, I love the music in this. Like, it's not just the... it's not just the Immortals. But like, we've also got like Gravity Kills, Fear Factory, like Typo Negative. Tracy Lords is.
Tracy Lords?
Really? Tracy Lords sings?
Gotta be a different Tracy Lords.
What is her fatality?
Never mind.
Nope. It's the actual Tracy Lords. Costumes in this are fantastic. I mean, you can't argue these people don't look like their characters.
Very cosplay-y, but it works.
I'm going to give it a comfortable 3.75 out of 5 nut shots to Goro.
This is one of those movies where I can remember going to see it in the theater. And, you know, critics be damned. It gave me what I wanted, for the most part, in a Mortal Kombat movie. Has it aged well? No, not really. But I'm still going to throw it out there that it's probably the best video game to movie adaptation ever made. That's kind of a low bar, but it still, I think it still holds true. Some of the acting by some of the, you know, the generic actors that they found leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know what
that Indiana Jones scene. We should have brought that up.
I don't know what the fuck Christopher Lambert is doing in this film. Like, what are you? How? Why? Why are you here? Like,
the man deserves to be in every movie ever made.
I can't get into the Force. I just can't. I'll be the lowest one out of the bunch. I still like this movie a lot, but it has its problems. I'm gonna go 3.5, which is still a respectable score. 3.5 out of 5. When Reptile gets defeated by Liu Kang and his belly turns into Halloween 3.
It just does.
Snakes and worms and buggies.
Oh my.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. If you want to write to us, you know how to do that? You could write to us at...
Are you literate? You
mortalwerewolves@gmail.com. Or you can find us on YouTube or on Threads or Instagram or TikTok while it's still alive. Write to us, subscribe, like us, love us. We love you.
I like you a lot. I don't know if I love you, dear viewer. I like you a lot.
The frick? The frick?
Full moon rising, we're feeling alive. Hormones raging, we're ready to thrive. We're watching movies, bad to the bone. Screaming at screens all alone. We're wolves in the dark, bad cinema delight. First getting bigger with every fright. Good, bad, or